So you're probably wondering, where's Jacob? Well, I ate him. Or maybe he's just working on the next how to play. So in the meantime, I have made 10 spells, the majority of which should have never been created. Going by spell level, let's get started. Number 1, Ataxia. It is a first level spell. The casting time is 1 action. The components are verbal, somatic, and material. The material component is a Joker playing card or a wooden die. The school is evocation. And the way that you cast the spell, essentially, is you submit control of your body to the weave, and let magic itself decide what you cast. A random spell will occur based on what level you cast Ataxia at. You can cast the spell ranging from level 1 up to level 9, at varying degrees of success or mayhem. It is entirely up to the DM. Spell number 2 is Summon a Guy. It is a first level spell. The casting time is 1 action. The components are verbal and material, and the component that you need is 1 edible item. This can be something like salted meat or a loaf of bread, preferably a sandwich. It is consumed by the guy you summon on casting. You summon someone from the material plane, randomly chosen by the DM, and he shows up, and he's here for an hour. And you can tell him to do anything you want him to do, and he has to do it outside of killing himself. This guy is friendly to you and your companions. If you lose concentration on this spell, however, he does not disappear. Instead, he goes into a fit of panic, terrified as to where he's been summoned. He will either flee in a random direction, or he will lie on the ground and sob. Spell number 3 is Egg. It's a second level spell. The casting time is 1 egg. And the components are verbal and material. The verbal component is to say the word egg, and the material component is an egg. When you cast it, you roll a d6. On a 1, you summon 1d6 eggs that just are eggs. On a 2, you summon 2d6 eggs that shoot in random directions from you at like 50 miles an hour. These things are basically lightning bolts in the form of eggs. Anyone that would be hit by the egg has to make a dex save or take 1d6 magic bludgeoning damage by a very rapidly flying egg. On a 3, the egg you use to cast the spell hatches into 1d12 plus 2 chicken. Now the chickens are friendly to you and your party, but may not be given commands. They will follow you around until they are killed and eaten or die horrible deaths by their own design. However, if the number of chickens you summon are above 9, the chickens are instead hostile to you. On a number 4, you summon 2d8 hard-boiled eggs, each of which, when eaten, will restore 2 health to you. On a number 5, you summon a very large egg, and you roll another d6. On a roll of 6, you roll 2 more d6. Whatever happens on those 2d6 happens instead. Number 4 is Leech Therapy. It is a 3rd level spell. The casting time is 1 action, and it has to be within 15 feet of you. You summon a cluster of leeches or frogs or spore pods or whatever you would prefer to summon, and they start to pool in the palm of your hand, and you can use an action to throw them. And when you throw them, you decide whether they are helpful or harmful. And the damage dealt or helt, will be 1d4 plus your ability modifier. Number 5 is Sumo Slam. You choose an enemy that you can see within 30 feet of you, and you are teleported 10 feet above them, and you have gained 40% of your current body weight in the form of a sumo wrestler. You fall this 10 feet at a rapid speed and deal bludgeoning damage to them when you land. This damage is 66. Upon impact, your weight returns to normal. Spell number 6 is Vile Hemorrhage. Now this spell is a heavily altered version of an ability that blood mages get. When you cast this spell, it starts at 4th level. The components are somatic and material, and the material is either the teeth of a vampire bat or a dried leech. The range is 60 feet, and when you cast this spell, you roll
8d10
plus your caster level. If the amount you roll is greater than or equal to the opponent's hit points, they just die. The target's blood rapidly expands like cancer in an instant and kills them in a horrible, disgusting explosion. Now, if the amount you roll is less than their current hit points, you do nothing. But regardless of what happens, at the end of your next turn, you take half the damage rolled. Spell number 7 is Ladro's Fantastic Funhouse. This is a 4th level spell, and it is an enchantment spell. You create an area around you and the character that you choose, and if they fail a wisdom save, you gain control of the way they perceive this whole area. You can envelop anything you want, moving floors, lying mirrors, creatures, fire, pits. Now, if anything in this area would do damage to them, it is a 1d8 plus your ability modifier. Every time that you damage them, or every minute that passes, however, they get to reroll their save. Number 8, Soul Assimilation. This is an 8th level spell, and its components are verbal, somatic, and material. The material you need is the ashes of a lotus flower and a red gem worth 5,000 gold, which is consumed upon casting. The casting time is 1 hour, and when you finalize this casting, you touch the forehead of the creature that is your victim, holding the gem in your other hand. The target must make a wisdom save or take 12d10 plus 20 necrotic damage. If the target is reduced to 0 hit points, it dies, and you get to essentially dissect their soul. And when you destroy their soul, you can assimilate some of their abilities into your being. Your options are, if this creature had a class, you can take some of their class abilities, 1 for every 4 levels that they were at when they died. If the target could fly, swim, or climb, you gain that ability at half the speed that they were capable. Or you gain the damage resistances and immunities. So let's say you kill a vampire with this spell. You can gain all their immunities and resistances. If the target had blind sense, tremor sense, or true sight, you gain that. You also have the option to gain the ability to communicate in any way that this creature was capable. Or finally, you absorb their magical attunement, gaining some of the spell slots that they had in life. And finally, our last spell is Arcane Diffusion Bomb. This spell is a 9th level spell. The casting time is 1 hour, and the components are verbal, somatic, and material. The material being an Ankh charm and a written prayer of apology for what you are about to do. When you cast this spell, you choose an area within 60 feet of where you currently are. You then spend an hour welling up arcane energy into a single focused point. It then launches from your location, and after 1d4 rounds, lands. Now when it lands, a few things happen. Firstly, all creatures within 30 feet take 20d8 plus 150 magic bludgeoning damage. Creatures within 120 feet of the horrible explosion have to make a con save, or take 20d8 plus 50 radiant damage, taking half damage on a success. All non-magical plant life within 300 feet withers and dies. The 30-foot radius around the detonation becomes a dead magic zone, having been torn apart by this horrible thing you've created. For the next 1d10 days, any creature that enters this dead magic zone takes 15 radiant damage every round. This is essentially a nuclear warhead for wizards and sorcerers. Now you're probably thinking, Logan, that's only 9 spells. That's because the last spell is poop. It's poop. Now on D&D Beyond, my request to make poop in public has been formally denied. So my poop is private and rejected, as it should be, but I'll read it to you anyway. This is a cantrip spell. The range is 30 feet and the casting time is 1 action. The components are verbal and material, the material component being either sand or dirt consumed upon casting. When you cast it, the verbal component is to say the word poop 3 times. When you do this, the material component in your hand transforms into the poop associating with whatever material you used. If you use sand, this glorious Hershey squirt is flung forward in a cone of 15 feet. Each target in range must make a dex save or take 1d6 damage. If you use dirt, the crap sausage that you summon is flung 30 feet from your position into a target that you choose, and when it lands, it deals 1d8 poisoning damage. I'm so sorry that this video ended with poop, but the video's over.